see if it comes from home. Yeah. Okay.
Why do I move the slides? The arrows, they're not working. They were.
These arrows down here?
Straight, perfect timing.
Is it like it's bad? Or- Well, it's just good. So sometimes it thinks it's somewhere else, so that if you click on the screen, it says, no, this is what you're working on, and then you.
All right, everybody, we're gonna get started. I'm Rebecca Hudak, this is Bonnie Clark, and Kristen Beam is here, as well. So we have, led the RVTEC Wiki Breakout and the Wiki, sorry. So, just as a quick introduction, how did this even start? So it actually came from you guys. We had best practice breakouts last year, and one of the big, concerns and questions is we've been collecting all of these documents for a few years now, like where can you guys get to them? With Alice's help, we hosted a wiki within UNOLS that will hopefully be this place where we can put all of our resources and links and places that you guys can have a central location to go to that has everything available to you. So before this RVTEC, we're like, okay, we really need to get going on this. So we sent out a Google form to you guys with some questions. This QR code will take you directly to the wiki. So we had 16 responses, which, as you all know, is not too bad for this community. So one of the big ones was, should this be a public facing or should you have a sign in? And there's quite a few mixed results. So we kind of took that and we made it viewable to the public, but you can't edit it. And then you have to have a sign in to do any edits or comments or anything like that. And we'll go through what our process is. So just like a quick code of conduct disclaimer, we just want to make sure like this information is for general guidance, but it's not ship specific. And please use caution and refer to vessel documentation and protocols when applicable. We don't want to be responsible for any injuries that might come from like our suggestions. And then like the big part is we really want to work with you guys, so this community, to develop guidelines, to encourage positive recommendations and respect the structure and formatting. So we don't want people to just go in there and just offload a bunch of things and then leave and walk away. We really want this to be a living document where we can keep adding and updating and working with each other.
Yeah, so we're talking about this going with user roles. We put a lot of thought into this, but are certainly looking for feedback. The basic roles would be a subject matter expert, which would basically be the creator of the pages. They're the ones putting the content into the pages. The peer review and editors would be the ones that are going and QCing content and formatting, kind of going back to that code of conduct where we don't want it to be ship specific. We want to be respectful. We want it to follow the proper formatting of the wiki, so there's some consistency page to page. The approver is part of our approval process where we can have one or two people officially approve a page in order for it to be published. And then once it has been approved, so basically approved by the editor, approved by the approver, then the page can become public. So there are a couple of use cases for these different roles. And also, I imagine these different roles will be suitable for different people. Because this is the expert who sometimes is decades away from being in that like learning hot seat. And we then want to have people who are in that, still in that learning curve, come in and say, is this useful for me? So that's something we're trying to take into consideration. So infrastructure for this is hosted on the UNOL's Azure account. We are using plugins for file management. File management on DocuWiki is, I would say, the most challenging process of DocuWiki. So that is something we're trying to have a very specific protocol on how we manage that. It is still suitable for file management, but managing it and keeping it organized is challenging. And also indexing of namespaces, which we can talk more about kind of when we break out and look at it more. Moving pages and documents. So there are ways of using plugins to make the wiki dynamic so that you have a little script that is like listing all the documents in a folder instead of you listing all the documents in a folder. That way, if you change the documents that are in a folder, it automatically updates on a page. That's just an example of where we're trying to use plugins to make it dynamic so that it doesn't become stale over time and you don't have to like chase down changes on different pages or broken links, things like that. We are using a like a text editor that has more familiar editing. Wiki format is not challenging to learn, but they have a plugin for it where you can have it look more like just a normal like Word document editor. And then we're using user management for editing and the approval process, which is something we're really trying to now put a lot of thought into before content is populated on these different pages. So the review process, start with the expert group creating content. So they have the ability to create, edit pages, upload media. They're the ones that are populating it. With in draft mode, a non-logged in user cannot see a draft page. They will see the most recent published version of it. DocuWiki has excellent version control, which is, part of the reason you go with wikis. So the editor group can come in, they can edit the pages and approve it for that final review. And the final review is going through the approver. So someone who's literally just coming in and, at a kind of like higher level glance, going through and making sure that all the pages are being approved and published. And then once it's published, is visible to all users logged in or not logged in. And the past revisions are also visible to all users, which we can, if I can walk through that if people are interested in seeing how you go and look at past revisions. And from there, it can be edited. These are living documents. As more information comes in, as we learn new methodologies, as we kind of like check ourselves, we can go and make edits and put it back through this process. General guidelines. We prefer PDF and JPEGs. Avoiding videos and editable documents. Editable documents are tough because people can download it and edit it and put it back up, and it's kind of hard to track that. Videos are just large files that take up space and that can be embedded. So you can upload them to YouTube and then embed the YouTube link in a page. There's already a lot of YouTube videos and content in existence, so we don't need to duplicate that. For instance, the What Went Wrong Wednesdays, tech training videos. I know there's lots of like termination videos. They're on YouTube. I think we talked about that in the 681 breakout yesterday. Those can all just be directly embedded, so we're not making split files there. And then we want to scrub any sensitive information. So I think everyone who is a sailing tech or has worked as a sailing tech is familiar with the volume of documentation that exists. And if you were just to copy and paste that into our site, it will probably contain IP addresses, maybe passwords, I don't know. User account info. We want to make sure that we are observing the cybersecurity health of the fleet and of this site. we want this to be fleet specific, not ship specific. Well, it certainly is of interest. I'm curious to see people's protocols for a specific ship. I don't even know how to start up the flow through on every ship. So this, we're trying to shoot for high level, how this helps the fleet and avoid that, really specific documentation. Opinionated statements. I think you've all read some documentation out there that has some opinions in it. We're gonna try to get rid of those as much as we can. It's good to have healthy conflict. That's how we learn and grow. We don't need to do that in the text content of it. We're not covering operational systems, engines, bridge equipment. I know some groups cover more bridge equipment than other groups do. Satellite systems, for instance, there is a SatNav Wiki. We can refer you to that. The multi-media advisory committee is another example where there's a wiki that already exists. We're not going to be duplicating that. Which goes in the next bullet. Tech training group and high seas net, another example. So we can refer people to where they can find the documentation, but we do not need to repeat it. All right. So we will do a quick walk. Okay. Cool. I know I haven't thought of how I'm doing this walkthrough, so I hope it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Any questions while we get set up with the wiki?
Julie.
How are you selecting experts to write this content?
Self-selecting. So actually, you might be a better person to speak to that, because
Sure,
Yeah.
so it's kind of volunteer basis. We're looking for people that want to be part of the wiki process, so you can volunteer to be an expert person that gives documentation, you can volunteer to be an editor, you can volunteer to be a approver. So we try to spread out the work, so it's not concentrated one or two people that will be overwhelmed in a year and won't want to continue the work. So we want to make sure people are involved. Unfortunately, it is kind of volunteer, right? We don't have any funds to pay anyone. That doesn't stop you from asking your supervisors, hey, this is a really important documentation for the community. Can I get some funding to work on this?
and we really want to encourage, we want people at different levels in their careers. Because while the expert is the one that is writing a lot of it, they're not the one that's going to benefit from it as much as someone who is earlier in their career.
And I think everybody, like, in this room is an expert at something, even, depending on what level.
Yeah.
It's more of like comfortability. Do you feel comfortable writing about this topic? It's not like you need to have a master's degree.
No.
Yeah, and I can argue too that even if I'm a non quote unquote top of the line expert, but only this expert writes it, they get it reviewed by others that may know more, right? But they do the grunt work and then get through. Is that work with you, Julian, or did you have?
No, I was just curious if it wasn't just.
Yeah, I guess
You could be an expert.
Yeah, I guess the word expert's a little bit of a misnomer, but we're trying to find a good title that would convey that
Subject
responsibility.
Yeah, at first it was creator and that felt weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a page published on a topic,
Mhm.
and then you said it can edit it, so a living document.
Yep.
Who would be doing those edits? Would it be that same team that published the document in the first place?
So it can
Wait.
come two ways. You can request an edit by emailing the RVTEC
Okay.
email, or if you were that subject matter expert and there's been updates in the field,
Mhm.
you can also go in and then we get notification, hey, this needs to be approved and edited
Okay.
again.
Okay. So it'll go through that entire process
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm still playing around with, there's a plugin called the Publish plugin. And it's great because this isn't really kind of start the walk. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna sprinkle that in at the end of the walk. Yeah.
Yeah, I have another one too. We do have, right, our UNOL's YouTube channel, and so we've got a lot of videos there, and we're willing to host a lot more. We can even give somebody admin from your group admin privileges to add and add to playlists.
Yeah.
So if that's something that would be useful, it would keep everything together, right? We've got all the lower Wednesdays and service voters, a bunch of training videos for terminations, and so there's a lot there. Anyway, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, there's so many options.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And if it's not an option now, we can figure out a way to make it work.
I just want,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be like best practices, like a home for like. But I mean, what kind of content?
Yeah, so this is like, yeah, kind of like your best practice, what's recommended for each of these devices. And like the big idea about this is it's trying to be as organized as possible. We organize it by ship systems and then we do like a hierarchy. We did the tap over, you can see it. So there's like your ship systems and then we have like your echo sounders, your oceanographics,
Right.
your drones. So we have this list and then within those are like hierarchy. And yeah, it's supposed to be like the best way to do that,
Okay.
that instrument or that sensor. And like I said, this kind of came from the best practices groups because we have. You
A lot
can
of
see we have like pages and pages of documentation with nowhere to go until we're like fully
Do you-
published.
Do you see this being the ultimate home of best practices documentation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still worthwhile to go through the publishing process.
Yeah.
To get it to a wider community, but for like our group, like. The problem with the best practice is it's taken years to get from the beginning to the end. And there's like, we need something that people can use now. And not 5 years down the line, because we want to do all the best practice documents for all of the systems.
Yeah.
And that's gonna probably take us 30 years, like.
I mean, and then new systems develop and things change.
Yeah, so I'd rather have something more like this as a living document. I still think there's a place for best practices. But I think this will be a good stopgap.
Yeah, and it might be too much in the weeds, but like manuals and things gonna be part of this, like.
So we'll have links to manuals,
Okay,
so you don't
very
have, the big thing is you don't
Yeah.
have to go searching on Google to find all these things. It'll be in one location.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. We're trying not to duplicate files. I think Jason's probably heard my stress about splinter files. in
Yeah.
mine. I don't know, I think about that a lot. That's okay. So for instance, Seabird hosts all their manuals on their website. We
Yeah.
will direct you to their website.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
We're not gonna host their manuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, although every now and then I go to like some obscure university who hosts some old Seabird manual that Seabird doesn't host. That's happened.
Yeah, Gabe.
I like the approval process. But I'm anxious that you need 3 to 4 people to put a page up, looking at like, you know. Some of the best practices groups have died before they published anything, right? Like they're gone now.
So
I think only PKE and like 1 or 2 others exist.
you know what, I am gonna dive deeper into the publish process right now, since it's come up twice. So I'm hoping that we've come up with a way to make it simple enough that it happens quickly. So the expert or the person that's populating this page does it. And then, it will show up here. Let me go edit something so that it will
Can you
show.
make the text a little bigger?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not the only one who's terrible, I said that.
I get it first.
No, that's not working.
And plus.
No, command plus, sorry, I told you control.
RVTEC.
Thank you there.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
We're on it, yeah.
Is that good? One more? Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and edit something. And I'm just gonna say, like, we can switch to our visual editor.
You can go command minus to go.
Woo-hoo. Great. We're good. Okay, so now we have this, it's in this draft mode. So if the user comes on, they're gonna see the last published version of this page. I'm currently logged in as an expert, because I want to give us full permissions for this. So now what I can do is come over here to this approvals page. And it's not showing it. Oh, that's fun. Hang on. Student preferred version is available. Might be because I'm logged in as an expert. Okay, hang on, let me log in as me.
So the idea is you guys would create your own user, and then depending on what you want to be, we can assign you different roles. So you can be an expert computer approver, you can be an editor.
Who decides what's useful?
Here we go.
Like, If I say like, I wanna be the Niskin expert, and you say, no. That would be useful. Like, you decide, I'm not gonna tell you about Niskins.
Jason, the answer is yes, you can be the Niskin expert.
Pension for the springs.
I mean, like, I think we kind of touched it a little bit, like, the only things we really don't want to do is do like your, like any of the mate or the engineers, like information, so nothing about the engines, really,
I don't know though, like. I mean, I'd say if someone wants to like take a shot at it and they were a little less experienced, I might try and like phone a friend to have someone a little more experienced QC it. Like, I don't want to discourage people from contributing, and you learn so much from building documentation, so I.
On the subject.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see a scenario where someone is like, this would benefit me to write a page about his skins. And I would say, absolutely, go for it. And then I'd call up the person I know is a skin expert. And say, hey, do you want to look at this? I mean, it might happen. You might have to make that decision on the fly.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a mate intern.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
This would be-
This would be.
Yeah, have them do the first.
That's good, make a page.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a great
It's
idea.
almost like a pre-subject matter expert draft, and then it goes to that.
well, that's why you have the editors too, right, you can go double check, one for grammar, right, you don't wanna just throw random things up there, but also to kind of double check the information.
Well, also, I would imagine the main interns would be preferred people to read it and see, is this
Where's
useful?
there- yeah.
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 Get this taken out,
Yeah.
take me to halfway expert from.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean, we have meetings too. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Volunteer? Voluntold. Okay, I'm ready to answer Gabe's question now that I have the appropriate user permissions. So this page displays the approval process in real time. So I'm hoping that, and there are email notifications that are sent out as approvals are required. So it's not just like floating in the ether, like we would have to actively manage the approval process, but there is a system in place for being able to tell which pages. I moved a bunch of stuff before this, so that's why there's so many here. I was really messing with this yesterday. But there is transparency in that approval process and a simple way to track it. But you're right, that we would want, like, we would need to hold ourselves accountable for keeping that process moving. I still think that the process would be faster using a wiki than it would be using text documents that are being like passed around amongst people and emails and sidebar conversations. Like this streamlines the process a bit, but it's not gonna be without management. Is that?
Yeah, one of the pieces of our wiki on the school deck is that, like, we'll do something, we'll go in and just like change a little, like one line, right? Like, so our retermination document is this ancient thing that we just dumped in there. And the next time I do a return, we found a couple things like the colors in the document were wrong, they refer to different conductor colors.
Yeah.
that were there. So it needs to go in and like delete, change, done. Yeah, we don't have a reviewer that makes sure that that's correct, but you know it's correct, we just did it. And I mean, I guess
I think that's great for a single institution. I think when you're working with a larger group, like the end result is that the process is a little slower. But it's just, and I think I hope you guys can kind of like agree with this in whatever documentation you have on your vessels, whether it be some local file directory or whether it's Google Drive or wherever, like keeping that from becoming a point of chaos that just kind of like ostracizes people from looking at it is really challenging. Like we all have very different behaviors with documentation. And I think there are going to be like strict rules that need to be set down that are a little bit limiting, but keep it from getting out of control. But the second it's out of control or people don't trust it, no one's gonna use it.
Do you plan on having like a regular meeting to review changes and requests and stuff?
Farewell.
So you're getting ahead of it a little bit, so then the later slides, but basically what we want from this meeting is to get people who are interested in one of the categories, like an editor, matter expert, whatever. And then we'll have a separate meeting where we'll gather those people. And we'll meet and discuss one, like how to do exactly what you need to do. And then we'll have check-ins, like for subject matter experts that said, oh, I'll do this documentation, like 5 months later, it's still not there. So we'll have like check-ins and make sure that things are moving along as we expect. And if there's like questions, like we can get the group together, like editors, if there's like some major infrastructure thing that doesn't make sense anymore, we'll have a meeting to discuss it. So it, again, it kind of keeps this community involved and part of the wiki.
One other
Yeah.
question. So the RVTEC listserv is very active and the solutions, you know, people are communicating. Do you see a world where some of those solutions line up in this business?
I would love it too, because the one downside to that listserv is sometimes it gets lost, right? It
Yes.
gets lost in those emails. So I feel like, and this could be again, one of our discussion. But if we have 1 or 2 people that want to go digging in those emails and take that information and be able to put it on the wiki, so it's available for everyone, I think would be really helpful.
So I might be entering like voodoo territory.
Oh, I'm so excited.
What I'm curious about is, at least when I'm doing research or trying to figure out something, I care about the speed of which I, get my information. So I was almost curious, do you guys have like any plans to maybe try to make this almost like a database and feed this to almost like an AI, or like a chatbot to be able to? Be able, like,
That's a great question. The answer is not, that's not something we've thought about right now. But so DocuWiki is a very open source. It's pretty old school, I admit. And there are, like, I know you use Bookstack, what it's called, and which is, it's in a lot of ways superior. But the nice thing about DocuWiki is that it's open source. It has tons of options for like plugins. It's very easy to configure and to like do whatever you want with it, and you can break it pretty easily too, but it's not hard to fix. But I don't know, maybe you could write a plugin for us that would do that.
I guess the simpler, maybe like an intermediate step would be some sort of search bar. You know how like Google has.
So it does have a search bar.
Okay, you can see that.
But hey, maybe that'd be a good make intern project. Like, can you make us a little AI plugin that can like summarize my search? Yeah.
So I don't know if the AI talk yesterday, but Sekuliak is gonna be working with Kui to develop an LLM fed on documentation. So hopefully, this time next year we'll have something to present, but that is definitely in the works, sorry.
Wait, where would you like?
Just feeding it information, you can type a question about.
Where would it source material?
So.
You would train it on every dot manual from Seabird, from Teledyne, whatever. So it would essentially, you'd be like, hey, I'm having this problem with my CTD, what do you think? And it would be like, according to page 5 of the manual, that means this.
So basically, it makes the large language model a more efficient search engine. That's all it's gonna do. Like, if you go to Google and you say something or other, what you're actually reading is the thing it lifted from Wiki.
Yeah.
From Wikipedia.
Yeah, I mean, this will be certainly fed into AI because it's publicly available.
Yeah.
So in a way, just go to ChatGPT. Okay, I feel like I want to bring this back in because we have a bunch of slides left and I haven't showed you yet. So I'm gonna do this. What time is it? What time is it?
It's 9:05. We have till 9.
That's my watch.
Yeah. 9:30.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. So the whole publishing process, this is not visible to everyone. But I can track what is a draft. And if it needs to be approved by 1 or 2 people, we can also make it so things are approved by just 1 person. That's an option for that plugin. The playground is just like a test bed. Right now we have it open so that non-login users can do whatever they want. It's not something that will stay, we're not gonna keep that open after this conference, but right now, if you wanna play around with this, you can just go to the site and come on in here and you can edit and delete and break wherever you want. Within this playground, it has a duplication of everything down here for people to just mess with. The rest of the wiki, the sidebar, is dynamically created. So if pages are added or if things are moved, it will automatically update. Because of that, we're really trying to hammer down on good hygiene where people manage pages based on namespaces. So if you see here, this ADCP page is part of the RVTEC wiki, ship systems, echo sounders and acoustics ADCP, where this is an actual cat file on the back end. And if you were to just throw that in some random place, it would end up like down here and start to get really messy. So we're really trying to keep this, have a conversation about the structure as we're making new content.
Quick question about that. So as a content creator, subject matter expert, am I working in the wiki itself? Or am I just drafting a Word document that I submit to the admin?
I mean, we don't have an exact way to do it yet. It's kind of whatever you're more comfortable with.
Okay.
We do have, today was just more of a working meeting, but which is good. I'm glad for all the questions.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
good.
yeah.
So like and some of our other sites, we have just a dump folder for our Google Drive. And like if you just have documentation and it's already made and you just want it to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
You can put it there. And it'll work its way into the wiki.
So I guess if you do it in that format, you can kind of cut and paste it
Yeah.
into the.
Right.
Yeah, and like if I wanted to make a new page, I would literally just, up here, hold on. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying the address bar, right?
Yeah, that's what I want right now.
I'm just terrible at namespaces. I just put them in the wrong place. So, like,
There's an approval process.
yeah. So that would be corrected. I would not
Yeah.
worry. That's all I want.
So if you look at it now, it's literally RVTEC wiki, ship systems, echo sounder, acoustic, ADCP test. So I just made a page and it's like, yo, this isn't the page. And then I can create a page and I can, the visual editor appearance wise, just looks like a Word document. I can put it all in here. I can, if they want to work with me, if they want to use like certain plugins to display documentation, we can make that happen. If they want to embed videos, that's pretty easy to do. But once they, if they have permission to create a page, then they can populate the content on their own. I do think we want QC that someone put it in the right place as far as that like namespace goes. That's really, really, really important.
So they can see like our structure.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we are trying to define structure ahead of time, and I keep repeating this plugin comment, but it's really important because this table of contents right here is based on these headers. So, if this is header 1, this is header 2, this is general text. It will dynamically create this table of contents based on you using the appropriate headers. So we're trying to create templates for the structure of the pages. And you might not use, this is an example of a page that would be for the ADCP. So a brief introduction, basic maintenance, we can do pre-cruise, during cruise, and post-cruise information. The documents would be created using a plugin. So there would be an ADCP folder where any of those documents are stored. And if something is added or removed from that folder, that will automatically update on this page. Useful links. So we're trying not to recreate anyone else's documentation. Like this is where we send people elsewhere. This is a great example. We don't need to do what Jules has already done. You spent a lot of time on that one.
Just a quick part. So this formatting comes directly from our best practice documents. This is what we use in our best practices, and we figured we should duplicate it here. And for the most part, we always talk about maintenance, we always talk about like what to look at before it occurs, during it occurs, and after it occurs. Some of them will have calibration information, so you'll have a whole section about calibration. So, I mean, we're welcome to like any critiques, like, we want it to make sense to you guys. But at this moment, this is kind of what our idea was.
Yeah, and some of the instruments, if this format might be a little bit different. Like the SBT one, it's not gonna look exactly like this, but for the most part, we wanna try and keep this file structure as much as possible.
Since we're highlighted up here, I was gonna ask, to what extent is this, for operators? And to what extent is it for lots of other people who are not, on ships who are, very interested in what we know?
I mean, I think the primary audience is supposed to be the UNOS group, but, like, we have no technicians, right? Like, they also are interested, slightly different procedures and some things. But I think as long as we can continue the tech community, international tech community as well.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is that what our contribution would be UHS ACPs, not ACPs in general, because the vast majority of these out there are run by VMDS. And I don't wanna undertake to try to wiki the best practices of VMDS. We do have some documents we can point to. That is our mission, and what I'm asking for is, can I not feel guilty about that?
No, yes, yes.
I don't want to feel guilty, is that okay? Yes.
It's kind of like this meeting, right, where it's open for everyone, but we're
Focusing.
Focusing,
on us.
focusing completely.
Okay.
So, we're happy to open it up, but.
Sorry, to Jules' point here, with the ocean mapping community wiki, we have contributors to NOAA industry. It's not growing as fast as we'd like, but it's okay, we use it all the time for that.
Yeah.
And, we found the speed of accessing information is, for me, that's the most important thing. I can just get to the things I need repeatedly, very quickly, but, it can link to those very specific things like UHS or whatever. The context that it provides for people coming in and looking at the wiki, they might not know the different things. The wiki can provide context for what matters.
Yeah.
In our experience, that's really helpful part.
Yeah, and that would be a worthwhile thing to say in the introduction, and this is also pretty like ACP specific. But, doing a little addendum, like the fleet uses UHDAS, within the industry, VMDAS is still a standard.
Yeah, when I get a free week or two, I've got gobs of things I could put in there, route people off to the appropriate places.
You volunteered.
Died, I can put that on my tombstone.
Yes.
Well, I think that's what will.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Francis.
So the start team has a really specific video, and something that was really useful on that was that there's a space for comments, so people could add, this is something that maybe doesn't qualify for being in a troubleshooting or during a group session, but just personal experiences, I think this actually does make it work.
Yeah.
And
Or a request.
yeah, so would it be possible for people who maybe aren't, don't feel like it's right to edit the page, but want to contribute something, are you thinking of having comment spaces and bottom spaces? What I just didn't point.
I haven't thought about that, but there must be a way to do it. That would be interesting.
It's worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Just on that note, on our wiki, the issues track.
GitHub, right?
Yeah, we use GitHub, not a great wiki. Don't use GitHub.
We feel like crowdsourcing information.
Yeah, the reason we stuck with GitHub is because of issues tracking. Anybody can publish an issue.
Yeah.
And then you can respond to it, and now you can take action. I feel like something similar would also be really helpful for not replacing the RVTEC email list, but.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think we'll kind of touch on this, but this outline is missing a couple pieces, like troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run into.
Yeah.
We have history, already.
Yeah,
Which I don't know is would be super applicable here.
It's specific.
Yes.
But troubleshooting.
But troubleshooting,
absolutely.
troubleshooting would be like number one.
And that could be a header in
I mean,
a
we
system.
can even do like common Q and A's, like you see like frequently
Yeah.
asked questions, right? You can do something like that, or like, notes about this system from our community.
It's
you know?
true where troubleshooting would be something that would probably come from a wider array of people. And we would need to come up with a workflow for that to be easy for someone to do and easy to publish.
Just a suggestion that if we do allow some kind of like FAQ or like lessons learned kind of thing, I do think it'd be really helpful for attribution of like, oh, Gabe wrote this because Sikuliak experienced that. So that somebody else has that same issue, they go, like, I'm just gonna write
I
Gabe.
think that scenarios could certainly be shift specific.
Yeah.
And it does have this contributing authors piece is automatically, anytime someone edits, if a new person were to edit a page, their name is going to be added to that. And it could be Kristen Bean Dash in your email. But yeah, providing more context for troubleshooting.
Yeah, I'm making notes on all this too, perfect.
So good. Are you okay with us just like rebounding it like this?
Yeah.
Okay, I know there's like 3 more slides, but honestly don't know what's on them.
Well, there's at least one link I want people to see, but.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think I saw Sean's hand first.
Oh, I just wanted to mention that there is a Wiki discussion plugin. And there's also an LLM in chatbot.
Okay.
So we're developing.
The plugins are fun and chaotic because they're made by strangers. And they can break. But they're fun because you have so much power to just go in and do the back end and delete it. But I'd be curious to look at those ones.
I'd be cautious, I think, on like a discussion and comment section, because that's gonna be similar to their email group, where like discussions and ideas will get lost.
Right.
So I'm on the fence. I could be persuaded possibly, but I think if
Yeah.
we can do more of like a FAQ or lessons learned section
But the comments could be a way for people
to
to
discuss.
get it to us.
Yeah.
Too.
As long as there's also a login component, so it's not just a lot of like.
They need to log in.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete them.
Because there is like the user permissions. We wrote them and we can edit them and make them as complicated as we want. But there is another user that's just literally user, that is a logged in user that's assigned to the user group. And we could use that for, great, we know who you are, you can do whatever you want now, but we know who you are, so there's some accountability.
I would think they face for messy comment sections versus messy email list, cause like, that's so
We
much.
just call it
the
messy
emails
comments.
Are so much more likely to get lost and harder to sift through, and like, if someone joins that mailing list next year, they're not gonna see the minutes from this year about the error put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still want to encourage people to use the email list because that notifies them.
It's also archived.
And it is archived.
It's still archived.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this will be like sorted under, like, all of those comments will be under an ADCP page, not the ADCP page, so it'll be
Yeah.
that much more efficient.
Yeah.
And a lot less to do.
But people won't get a notification.
Yeah.
That the new content is there.
What I like about the email listserv is like when people are panicking and something's really not working right now, you can get a lot of experts that can.
Please help now.
Yeah.
I guess I was envisioning it more as like a people reporting, but they did versus like asking for help. But that's really makes sense for that to be the email.
Maybe if you wanted, like, you could kind of, to what Will was saying, you could keep the wiki as like a past incidents that happened and then have the email list as an active incident.
Yeah.
I made like a little workflow, that automates taking those active incidents and archives them to a wiki page into like a quick common, problem sort of page.
Yeah.
For this specific device, or something like that. Interesting.
Very interesting.
So Wikipedia uses what's called the top page. And for every page that you've got of content, there's always lists of discussions that go on, edits that you want to make.
you can put signatures and stuff on that and ask people, and that will email you if you're signed up for that. Would that make sense as a way to kind of track discussions related to what's going on in the wiki, as opposed to, oh no, my ship's on fire, how do I put it out? That maybe makes more sense for an architect, sort of email.
Maybe, yeah, because I bet there is a way to notify someone on page updates, like the expert.
Yeah, like you can follow pages or get like the.
Yeah.
What is that called?
It's just a copy. You go to any.
So, yeah,
okay.
Or it.
So first to follow up on what he just said, you need to have the ability to follow up. And I assume that's what he has it. We use MediaWiki, have used MediaWiki for years.
Yeah.
You can tag pages and follow topics, which is very useful. The other comment I was gonna make just in general is, going back to what Becca was saying about one of the values of this wiki effort, is I've been a cat herder for, a flow through system, best practices group for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. The group has pretty much gone dormant because I don't have the time anymore. And so I would love to be able to go and take the, 4 years of notes that we have on flow through best practices and dump it on the wiki.
Give it to
And, get
Jumping back too.
Yeah. Yeah, give the community, all that insight. And again, you were asking about, is this just for this community? We have a whole bunch of people from Australia and
Yeah.
New Zealand and other countries, contributing to that.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that all that information is out there.
Yeah, that's a great example. Like, there's so much available information that we're all kind of like hoarding toward it.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, just because we're busy, everyone's busy.
And I guess to add to that too, we would still need to make sure, because this best practices with a whole bunch of experts and everything, still being able to give those people credit
Yeah.
on the wiki somehow, even though they're not a contributing author because they haven't edited this page. They did it.
Yeah. So, like, I was wondering, what a
That's a good point.
Would it be helpful, like, to have within the RVTEC listserv, like, put it out an announcement, like, if groups have been created and are not as active anymore, like, if they can, like, then send it to the wiki email, like, what they have, and then people can just, like, pick up, like, the stuff that they had, and if they have time, they can populate that document and give credit to the people who actually written it. Like, cause
Yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of people who have done these, like, working groups may not be in this room right now.
Well, I like have it in my head, okay, Maria involved with that.
There's also wiki pages available from institutions and other ships, like,
Yeah.
well, wiki.
Yep.
And we could straight populate this
Yeah.
as a baseline.
Here, I'm just gonna like.
The only thing with that though is we still wanna make sure it's not shit specific,
Right.
right? We don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
people
yeah.
to just like,
Control tab.
Yeah,
control paste or copy paste into our thing. We wanna make sure that it's
Just, escape.
applicable to everyone.
yeah. Brought over.
It doesn't say, go turn on this one
No, you have to-
switch and add on.
No, it's Wiki.
Just really quick before we run out of time completely.
And nobody can even have announcements, I was supposed to do a hand off.
Yeah. So, it was intended to be a working session where we all like split you out and you guys can like play and add stuff, but I appreciate the questions and discussion have been invaluable, so I'm not complaining at all. But some key points, if you want to be involved, send an email to rvtechwiki@unos, that will cut off at the bottom.
And
And
that can be as
then,
much or as little as you want to be involved.
and then we created this Google. Where is that? This Google Drive folder, and it's just a file dump. Like if you have a bunch of documentation and you don't really want to look at it, but you want it in the wiki, you can just throw it in there. It could be pictures, it could be comments, it could be SOPs, it could be checklists, like whatever they might be valuable. You're more than welcome to just like dump it into this file.
And then are you guys gonna sift through and organize it, or? Or somebody?
Depends on what it
It
looks
depends what,
like.
it depends what happens.
Yeah. You need a sister?
Yeah.
Not committing. I'm
Yeah.
worried that there's gonna be like 16 vessels worth of just.
Yeah.
I mean, what's nice about that is that expert doesn't have to be a full expert, they can just filter through their,
That would be a resource, yeah.
yeah.
So.
So those are plugins we added and that, yeah, okay.
Oh, wait, the tooltip, you should.
Which one?
Oh, the tooltips, so tooltips are cool, if you're not familiar with them. From like. A web standpoint, whenever you have like a little hover button. That shows some information, we can do that for keywords in the wiki, so.
Glossary.
Like a glossary, yeah. So
Yeah.
instead of going to a glossary page and like, oh, what is that? You can just hover over that word.
Yeah, cause we're really trying to avoid pages that need. Be edited to stay relevant. So, yeah, the tooltips are a cool thing to do. It's kind of like with, like it with stuff, with actual with your key info thing.
I'll leave this up here if you guys want to grab the QR code, but
Can you do that whole thing?
I mean, they can look at that QR, yeah. Just have bring the name for it. That's all I really had. Because we obviously don't have time to separate out in one, like 2 minutes.
The QR codes and all that, that'll be available after, right?
Yeah, we'll probably send an email out to the listserv and
Yeah.
just, like recruitment and.
Quick addendum, I'm sorry, this will be really fast. I also made a Slack channel for this, so people who are involved in it, we're gonna manage our conversations using Slack. So
The architect slide?
that is not, it's one I just made, so it doesn't archive.
There's an
because
RVTEC.
I'm paying for it.
There's an architect.
Oh, did I just?
No one's been.
No one's paid for it. But not pay, it just means you don't have a history, which
Yeah,
is a
that's what it
bummer,
is.
but. yeah.
Okay,
I mean, there are other things. you're-
we're happy
but-
to support that, but not with money, so.
Good vibes.
We're all behind it. It's just too unknown, I think, if you want to came up with, and, yeah, we kind of debate a little time.
But we will send an email out to RVTEC for all, that has all this information, and if you guys wanna get involved, contact us.
Thank you.
Okay, wait, I've got an announcement. Okay, first of all, we need to thank our sponsors today. So Sonardine is our breakfast sponsor, which was delicious. Kongsberg is gonna be sponsoring our lunch. They've also sponsored a lot. And then Marky's gonna be our sponsor for the afternoon. So if you see Marky or Kongsberg, thank them very much. They really came through this year, or Sonardine. And we have a new meeting location tomorrow. You are not coming to this location. You're coming to Sumner Auditorium. Look up, it's on, move up. I think it might even be on a map there, but the Google knows where it is too. It's a little bit further walk. It's on main campus, I think up the hill. So, but it's still good exercise. So, worth it.
It's just across Pocket Green.
Oh, it's not even that.
Just there.
Okay.
Bring it out to you.
The most important, well, this is the most important, yeah, the most important of the dinner tonight is at the Ida and Cecil Green Faculty Club. Which, yeah, that's up the hill, so walk, take an Uber, or take an Uber and walk home, because it's good, just walking there. Here's shuttles, the most.
Campus, I don't know how often
I don't know.
they don't run it.
But this is the big one. It is only a cash bar. There is no credit cards. So people need to stop at the ATM as they walk up. I can't believe that really in this day and age, but that is the case. So it's only a cash bar. You need to bring cash. And finally, we're going to have our group photo. We're gonna move it to today so we can get all the great scripts folks in with us. And we're gonna do it at about 12:45, just after lunch, right over there where our lunch is, so please stick around, all right? Awesome, we have a great day of breakout, and we had that awesome, last night, the festivity last night was so great, it couldn't have been better. So enjoy your day. It's okay. Was it good? Oh, yeah. Fish. Obviously. Just for my brain was, I like food. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. This is great.
Yeah.
It's just like anything goes. You have this plan like now. Hours forever. And it's
like talking.
no, it's good. It's good. I think they had great idea too, right?
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
I see. All right, next we've got.
You'll have letters from the group or you just.
SHB current 05. But you can, from the admin interface of that thing, or vice versa, they find something's going on, they'll let us know. And then along, what we're doing is we're producing a quality control data set that goes out to a broad user community. Everything from numerical modelers, satellite users, it's basically all these third-party data users. People who aren't even on the cruise is what we're providing. So that's okay, no worries. Yeah, so like I said, come on. Technology. What happened? I mean, go backwards, please. Thank you. All right. Yeah, so basically we've been doing this for over 20 years now. And we're looking to advance the SAMOS system, the quality control we do, and the way we process the data to modernize it and do more automation. We're really trying to push for more and more ways of automating the data. And in order for us to do this, we need a better understanding of where the fleet is going in the future. You know, what's coming up in data acquisition systems and what's new in meteorological weather observing, instrumentation and the like. So I hope you're ready to, participate because this is going to be an interactive session. We're going to start off with some quick Slido surveys. And these are all focused on data acquisition. So basically what you're using and how you're doing with your acquisition. So is the first poll ready?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the first question is really looking at in the next 5 years.
Do
What,
they have to do something with that?
yeah, they either have to click this QR, pull up, grab the QR code or, go to that bit.ly link. It'll take you to it.
I didn't hear you say that.
If you prefer to look at it on your laptop, you can follow that link. There is an underscore there that is not a space.
The underscore there, yeah. And so these are, active. Come on, work with me. And so this first one is a word cloud thing. So, if you enter information, we should start seeing what your plan is on there. Problem, oh, you need a QR again?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem, I hope. What'd you say? It was command. All right, well, there we go. Okay. So take a minute and, enter, some info in here and we'll get a feel for, where people are going. Ready? Everybody got the code? I won't. The command tab brings it back. It does.
See the
Let's
results.
click on see results. Where is my cursor? There is my cursor. Ta-da. Okay, so everybody responded? So yeah, so we're seeing this is the kind of information we need to know is that there's at least for the folks in the room, there's a plan to move toward Coriolis, OpenRV DAS. There's a few other data systems that are out there.